The first sutra of Patanjali is all about discipline and education of the mind. We always hear these two words, discipline and educate the mind to succeed in the examination, to drive carefully, to cook with diligence and due care. So here, the discipline and education of the mind, and the goal is samadhi. And samadhi leads to permanent peace and happiness. And the sutra, as we know, are compressed, zip file. We have to unzip it. But if I know how to unzip it by my own intellect, pressing my own opinion will not work here. We have to rely, depend on the Eastern wisdom. So now see the popular notion of the first sutra. We say now the discipline and education of yoga. Now. So we understand the word now as if, now I have started learning. I understand. And when the word yoga comes, we have a popular notion, practice of asanas, standing on one feet, putting my head on the ground. For an hour, I have reached to the samadhi. Have you heard any person, any master reach to the samadhi while standing on the head? These are popular notions. I'm not saying right or wrong. So I can only know the real notion when I unzip the file by the commentator Vyasa. So Vyasa gives a totally different meaning to every word in the sutra. Atha, he says, now for the seeker. Who is the seeker? Who is qualified person to treat the path of yoga. And who is qualified? Who has learned the art of discernment, separating real from the unreal, based on the teachings of the Eastern wisdom. And because he applied that discernment in daily life, he has reached to the state of dispassion. He has awakened the 6 inner treasures in him. And he has an intense desire for freedom. Real notion. Intense desire for doing a headstand posture. Popular notion. And then he explains what yoga means according to Patanjali by the Vyasa. Vyasa says yoga samadhi. Yoga is samadhi. There are 2 types of samadhi. One samadhi is a symmetry. When the master dies, his body is buried and a structure is built. Is he talking of that samadhi? Answer is no. He's talking of the ultimate evolution of the mind or the consciousness. What is this evolution or the highest state of meditation? The Eastern wisdom says it reveals the knowledge of reality. How do we understand it? Patanjali explains to understand every sutra. In one of his sutra, he says, follow Shabda, Artha, Jnana. First, know what the word is used, know the meaning, and extract the knowledge hidden in that meaning in the sutra. So once the knowledge is clear, we put that knowledge to test in my life, real versus non-real, shreyas versus prayer. There are a lot of steps. So that makes clear, and it amazes our mind. How come Patanjali says in the very beginning of the first sutra that yoga is samadhi? So that discipline and education of yoga to reach to the samadhi. The rest of the 194 sutras is based on this premise that yoga is samadhi, and Patanjali is saying that we are going to teach, learn and listen what exactly is samadhi. Let us look at samadhi also. The word samadhi. Instant meaning is highest state of meditation or mindfulness. When we live into that, knowledge of the reality is revealed. But what is that knowledge? What happens to the mind when the knowledge of the reality revealed? When we go into the deeper meaning of the samadhi, the etymological meaning, then it becomes clear what Patanjali is saying. So what is samadhi? Samadhi is samadhanam. Sam, dhi. Sam means samyak. What is samyak? Is good and right and common to all. It never changes. So it indicates the quality of the mind when we return from the samadhi. Indicating quantity, quality. Sam indicates quality and means quality. When the mind is constantly holding on the right quality and the right quantity in any given situation, you are in samadhi. So samadhi doesn't mean that I close my eyes and sit. Yes, in the beginning we need to do it. But as we progress, that state lives in you, whether you are speaking, thinking, talking, doing anything. So how do we understand intellectually the word samadhi? We need quality and quantity both. Good quality, good quantity. Quality of thoughts, good and right. Quantity, good and right. So it means, can we say samadhi is the state, quality of the mind, the quantity of the mind should be right and good. So these enlightened masters need not to even think, no, I have to be very kind and compassionate and wise in speaking and talking. It is so natural. Why? They have reached to the samadhi. They are awakened. And from that awakening state, descends into the mind, naturally moves with the right quality, right quantity in thought, speech, and action.